major Buccaneers injury updates. This is perfect. We have some awesome news, some awesome breakdowns to go through about what is going to be happening with some certain star players that we have been heavily anticipating and how they'll be fitting into this week's game plan against the Eagles and just what to look forward to with all of that. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, everybody. Vibes are good in Buccaneer Nation right now, which involves subscribing to the channel, commenting, liking, all that stuff. It helps us build this community. We're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff with memberships. That's already underway, which will help you with the live streams. Will help you with all the different exclusive videos that we'll start doing in the future. So anyway, get on board, subscribe in the meantime for free, all that good stuff. And let's just jump right into it. How are we feeling, everybody? I'm feeling good because this is a topic that I definitely want to talk about. First things first, Bailey Adams' computer report has to say, so with the injury crisis taken into consideration, there's less room to raise an eyebrow at Tampa Bay squeaking by Atlanta, Houston, and the New York Jets in the first 3 weeks. Instead, there's more room to be impressed with how this team has weathered the storm thus far. The fact that help is on the way with Wirfs and Godwin returning as soon as this Sunday should only give the Bucs more confidence going forward. So what are we talking about exactly? We're talking about the fact that Godwin is practicing in full participation this week after some limited reps the previous week, and Wirfs is also getting limited reps, which means that they're both on track. And Todd Bowles himself has said that we will get a final update tomorrow on Friday on whether they will be full to go, whether they will be active for the game on Sunday, which all signs are pointing towards that way. Both Godwin and Wirfs, whenever they've talked to the media, has sounded really, really excited and enthusiastic about this week, about the challenge. It sounds like they'll be involved. All signs are pointing that way. We don't know exactly what's going on with the offensive line, just practice-wise. The beat reporters are not allowed to report on what's going on with the offensive line lineups and where Wirfs will be playing, whether that be left, right tackle, all over the place. Who's to say? It'll probably be one of the two, just with all the arrangements that they've had to make with the injuries. But it's him being involved would be a massive boost. He did say that he is pain-free now, working his way back after getting that other surgery in the summer. So that's just wonderful to hear, and we're all thrilled. But Godwin himself, reinforcement could not come at a better time in terms of just Evans going down at the end of the Jets game. He'll be out for a few games. So Godwin making his full return now. I mean, just the timing. We are 3-0. It's not like we suffered losses. We managed to win all of our games despite all the injuries that we've weathered, which is what I wanted to talk about with just the fact that a lot of people are like, oh, your opponents that you faced in the first 3 weeks are combined 1-8 on the season. And like the Falcons, their only win was against the Vikings in that Sunday night game where J.J. McCarthy did not play very well, to say the least. And then everyone else is 0-3, the Jets and the Texans being those teams. But at the same time, it's really important to notice that the Bucs were also very much like weathering a massive storm. The injuries on the receiving room, the injuries on the offensive line, just all that stuff. The defense had to do a lot of work and really helped us stay in these games. And it paid off well. Like, I mean, we had a lot of 3 straight comebacks. Obviously, Baker Mayfield has been playing outstanding. No interceptions. Some fumbles that we've dove on, but overall we're playing really clean football. It's just the special teams that's really been kind of a mess as well. But we've been able to get over that hump as well. Good teams and great teams find ways to win, and that's what we've been doing. We don't make injuries. We don't make refs the excuse. We win regardless, and I just it's very, very exciting to have that as the Bucs standard. So Adam Slavin from Pewter Report also had to say, while the team won't go out of its way to expedite CG's or Chris Godwin's return into the fold, it could also not work out better for a timing perspective. Taking into account Godwin's injury timeline and the fact that he, like Wirfs, has practiced for a couple weeks, it appears to be a strong possibility he can play on Sunday. Even in a reduced role, getting back into the swing of things, it would be a nice boost having someone who can help the offense move the chains. And speaking of moving the chains, there is a specific player that I really want to point out that has been a kind of a secret weapon for the Buccaneers, and that's Sterling Shepard. His chemistry with Baker Mayfield being this wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, where you wouldn't imagine that wide receiver having that much chemistry. I mean, we have the most talented wide receiver room in the league, and it's just proving its point with the Mecca Buka going off. We don't even have Jalen McMillan until the second half of this season. But Shepard has really shown up in a lot of crucial third down conversions and just late drive heroics. He has been there. He's been on the same wavelength as Baker, and it's been awesome to see. And they both feel the same way. Sterling Shepard had to say, "There's that. Yeah, that's the kind of connection we've always had. I'm not the first read on too many plays. Most of the time, it starts with Mike Evans, that being, depending on the coverage, but plays break down a lot. And Baker is one of those quarterbacks who is going to use his feet, but he's going to look to throw as he's running. I just try to get into his vision and be somewhere he can throw the ball up if he has to, and it's been working well." Yeah, you could say that. Shepard had that big play at the end of the Jets game that got us into field goal range to win the game. And it's clear that when Baker's on the run, when he's looking for a guy that he can rely on, this happened last season as well when we were down a lot of receivers, that Shepard was a guy that he continued to throw the ball to. And he was struggling with drops last year, but this year I haven't seen him drop many at all. And I'm just really, really excited about just the fact that we always have the next man up. These guys are ready to go. They don't care what role it is or if they're wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 6. As long as they are participating, helping this team get wins, that's all they care about. Unselfish behavior, unselfish culture is what the Bucs are all about. And Shepard is just another example of just a guy who'd probably be like a wide receiver 2 on another team. But here he is stepping up into whatever role that the Bucs ask him to. Josh Grizzard is doing a great job of dialing up plays. And like he said, the plays aren't exactly designed for Shepard, but when things break down, he has this awesome chemistry where he can kind of break out of his initial route and run alongside Baker, where they connect vision, they connect eyes, and Baker gets it right to him. And it's just been life-saving for the Buccaneers having that. And, Baker feels the same way with this quote where he said, "Shep is just all reliable. He's my crazy lunatic that I continue to lean on." What he probably means by lunatic, besides just poking fun at a friend, is the fact that Shepard is willing to do whatever he finds necessary in the play. He's going to improvise really well. He's kind of in the mindset that Baker is. It's the similar thing that you'd see from Patrick Mahomes and like Travis Kelce. Obviously not to that level, but like the fact that they kind of know what to expect to each other. They're throwing the ball before the guy's even turning his head around or anything like that, or before he's in position, because they know what to expect from each other. Now, it always hasn't been, perfect. There's been plays where obviously Baker's throwing it into the dirt or throwing it, not exactly in a catchable sphere, but Baker's been doing a good job of making it, not just 50-50 balls like Jameis Winston. He's throwing balls that he knows that his receivers have a strong chance of bringing down and connecting with. So I'm really, really excited about what they're doing there with that connection. And then, going to Tristan Wirfs, Rick Stroud reported that Wirfs said that he was relieved when doctors finally discovered there was something wrong with his knee because it wasn't getting better over the summer. "I wasn't crazy," he said, noting that he had been in pain before the surgery. Now he's pain-free and could play Sunday. I think that this is awesome because Wirfs has really been trying to he was prepared to start this season and get back on the field immediately, but the fact was that he was in a lot of discomfort. He even mentions in that interview that he wasn't able to climb the stairs without being in a lot of pain. So that's okay, yeah, obviously something is wrong, something needs to be done. And, for a while, the MRIs weren't showing anything else wrong besides just him rehabbing his knee from his initial injury. But then now it's okay, there was an extra thing that needed surgery. They did find something. And now that they've taken that out or fixed it and allowed Wirfs to recover from that surgery in the past 2 months, he's now on the timetable where he doesn't have pain. He's not in discomfort. He is ready to make his debut with the Buccaneers, starting off 3-0, right where we want to be. And, he's just as thrilled as anyone else. He said they didn't have a ton of time. They went out and played incredible, that being the makeshift offensive line. So to be 3-0 after them having to go through all of that is pretty cool. Yeah, like talk about just the exact type of position you want to be. I mean, you're going up against quite the competition with the Eagles. You know that they have their talent galore. It's a big time NFC matchup for the seeding, but this is exactly when we would want like our best player to come back, is to go up against arguably the best team in the NFL right now. And I just can't wait. I'm going to be there in the stadium in Raymond James once again for this game and going against the Eagles. The Bucs have had their number for a while, but the Eagles are healthier than the Buccaneers, even despite with Godwin and Wirfs probably coming back for this game. That's still like the Eagles. They put Nolan Smith on IR, one of their pass rushers, and they have some cornerbacks dealing with some injuries. So there's some vulnerabilities that we can exploit on their defense, but their offense, unlike last year, is relatively healthy. They're not dealing with as many injuries as they were last time, where AJ Brown wasn't playing, Devontae Smith wasn't playing. They just had to rely on Saquon and Dallas Goedert. And now there's other questions about their offense this year where it's like, okay, maybe the play calling is nearly as interesting or creative as it was before when they had Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. I actually don't even know the name of their current one right now, but there's been criticisms of that that their offense hasn't looked as explosive or as strong. Now, I would push back on that, saying the second half of the game against the Rams that the Eagles had, they looked a lot better. They're able to adjust at halftime. So just because if the Bucs come out with a strong first half does not guarantee that it'll stay that way the entire game. They have to play a full 60 minutes, as we've seen with the Jets game. You take your foot off the gas at any point, that the other team will take it and run with it. And man, we get to wipe off the sweat and be like, holy smokes, that was close. But that's not going to happen against the Eagles. The Eagles they know how to win, just like the Bucs do. Maybe even more so right now, the Eagles do, because like I've said in other videos, Jalen Hurts in his past 17 games is 17-0, including the playoffs. So I obviously there's nothing to underestimate about these Eagles. Getting a win against them, even if we have their number, even if Todd Bowles has had good experience against Jalen Hurts, that doesn't mean squat. It means squat obviously. But Todd Bowles having his number doesn't mean anything. Every game is new. Every experience, every battle is going to be a fresh experience. Now, it doesn't always feel that way maybe for the team that's not doing as well against the others, like the Bucs. We felt like we were cursed against the Saints for a long time, specifically Sean Payton. But we can only hope that the curse for them continues. We've been breaking a lot of our curses lately. It feels like we're kind of in a new era of Bucs football that's been on the rise, on the build for a while after once Brady really established a winning culture here. And so I'm just really excited to have two of our star players, especially with Mike Evans out for a couple games at least, that we have Godwin, who was leading the league in receiving last year before his ankle injury, is most likely to be back, and we'll have Sterling Shepard. We'll have Emeka Egbuka, who'll be even healthier than he was last week when he was tearing it up with one-hand catches. There's just a lot to look forward to. Tristan Wirfs, we can only hope. I mean, he says he's pain-free, so he's going to be hopefully basically 100% when he's playing in this game. But yeah, the reason why they're hiding things, the reason why they're like, okay, we don't want to tell anyone where people are lined up, is so that the Eagles aren't prepared for whatever offensive line we have shaped up against them. I'm sure that they have spies and all that, but it's so none of the media is going to be reporting where folks are positioned, but Chris Godwin as well, like I said, full participation, and all signs are pointing go. All signs are pointing that this team is ready for just a clash of titans on Sunday afternoon. Tom Brady will be there commentating the game, so it's just, I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'll be doing updates from the stadium, and I know that everyone else is going to be really thrilled to watch this game. A lot of people are going to be rooting for the Bucs. We'll be America's team because a lot of people are sick of the tush push. They're sick of just the Eagles constantly pulling out games, kind of like the Chiefs were last year, where it felt like maybe they didn't deserve some of these wins. I disagree. I think teams who know how to win games because they are experienced in them and they understand what it takes, playing a whole 60 minutes and not letting your foot off the gas, even when you haven't started off strong, you finish strong. And it's just a matter of which team's going to come out on top. We need our stadium, week 4 here, to be loud. We need Raymond James to be loud, to be excited, and I'm sure it will be. I know a lot of Eagles fans, they travel well, and we got to make sure you don't sell your tickets to Eagles fans make sure that we have all Bucs fans coming here and making things loud and making things uncomfortable for Jalen Hurts and company. But anyway, until then, we'll probably have another video coming out tomorrow, which is more of a game preview type of game, unless there's another big update. But in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.